Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever seen a guy go from being the ruler of his castle to begging outside its gates in less than a week? Papoose, yes, the Papoose, is reportedly on his knees pleading with Remy Ma after being publicly dumped by Claressa Shields for her own fiancé. So just hang on tight, give it some thought. In what way does she wind up with the man she was already seeing? This is not just a breakup. This is an embarrassment that will ruin your career in front of the world. Imagine that. Following a moment in which he displays his untalkability, rumors, alleged direct messages, and blurry video of Claressa re-establishing her contact with her ex-partner flood the internet. Poor Papoose is left looking like the unwanted plot twist. Anonymous pals are the source of peer leaks to gossip blogs. Insiders claim that there is a lot more to this than people realize, and fans are turning it into memes. But here's the question. Did Claressa play him from the start? Or is this Remy Ma's last act of revenge? Oh, I promise you, the tea is only getting started. According to reports, loyalty is just a concept employed while the cameras are rolling in the entertainment industry. And the clearest illustration of that cold, hard reality that has ever occurred is this controversy. When they witness Papoose, the man who once proudly wore the title of hip-hop's loyal husband, in the center of a drama that is so insane, so chaotic, and so incredibly ironic, even the most seasoned gossip reporters are choking on their coffee. Allow us to travel back in time. Considering that Claressa Shields made headlines for allegedly throwing Papoose after becoming engaged, she was thrown back into the dating pool like a fish she had never desired. Her longtime companion, Tony Rich, is indeed her fiancé. The whole world was aware. She was conscious. And let's not pretend Papoose didn't know. Papoose's name, however, started to appear next to hers in between Instagram postings, celebrity parties, and those mysterious training sessions that insiders swear weren't only about boxing. Could it be a coincidence? Please. In our profession, nothing happens by accident. It's either a scandal or a tactic. Things start to become more intriguing at this point. According to anonymous friends who are just code for those who can't resist talking trash for a little influence, Claressa was never serious about Papoose. Just one example, sis was simply enjoying herself. She even revealed this to Gossip Spill Vibe exclusively. She didn't need the hype guy Papoose, but she stayed because he made her feel like she had won. Yet her real life was still with Tony. Not to mention the irony. Not very long ago, Papoose was the one who stood up for his marriage to Remy Ma in the face of every gossip story, tabloid headline, and adultery charge. Devotion, loyalty, and sticking by his lady through thick and thin were the cornerstones of his brand. However, in the plot twist, he is standing in the middle of the ring, without gloves, absorbing hits from both sides. Leaked text chats reveal that Claressa left him for her fiancé, and Remy Ma was reportedly grinning as he watched from the sidelines, adding, "Now you know how it feels." But what really happened behind the scenes? I mean, when has anyone ever been stopped by that? Verify. Claressa had been hinting at a reunion with Tony for weeks prior to anyone ever suspecting a separation with Papoose. Another alleged message said, "It's always been you. I just got caught up in the hype. I'm coming home soon." And if that's true, then what was Papoose? A rebound? A headline grabber? A man who thought he was the main course but was really just the appetizer? Naturally, social media picked it up, with Twitter turning it into a circus and Instagram gossip sites reposting blurry footage purportedly showing Papoose photoshopped into a folding chair at a wedding to which he was not invited. Where was Remy Ma in all of this chaos? Depending on which exclusive insider you believe, she was either working on new music, laughing with friends in a studio, or quietly liking shady Instagram posts that shouted, "This could have been avoided." Another so-called insider claims that Papoose had been trying to balance both relationships at the same time, keeping lines of communication open with Remy while trying to play a new man with Claressa. If that's the case, it's surprising that the whole thing blew up in his face. One particularly nasty rumor even claimed that she sent Papoose a 3-word text after the breakup news broke. Public opinion holds that it is a rookie mistake to double dip in love, especially when one of the women involved is a world champion boxer who could physically knock the fool out of you. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Claressa is no stranger to headlines. She has been called cocky, unapologetic, and even too real for her own good. But dumping a man for the man you're already with is not just real, it's ruthless, the kind of ruthlessness that ensures your name stays trending for weeks or even months. Whether you love her or not, you can't deny that she knows how to control her narrative. Papoose, on the other hand, seems to be scrambling. According to sources, he's been attempting to give his side of the story before it's too late. One mutual friend even admitted that he's been talking about regretting ever leaving Remy. That will magically erase the fact that he's now the poster boy for played yourself energy. Meanwhile, Tony Rich is just lounging, posting gym selfies, motivational quotes, and the occasional couple wife photo with Claressa. There are no messy captions or derogatory remarks, just a quiet confidence that says, "Yeah, I won, he did," in a sense. For those who are keeping score, Claressa gets her fiancé back, Tony gets the girl, Remy gets the last laugh, and Papoose receives the lesson, a difficult lesson full of public memes. Nevertheless, the question remains, was Papoose set up from the start, or was this all just bad luck? Some people, the kind that thrive on conspiracy theories, are already concocting. Remy gets to see Papoose's public humiliation, Claressa improves her image in sports and gossip headlines, and Tony replaces him as the real man in the story. It may sound improbable, but in the world of celebrity drama, the most unbelievable story usually ends up being the most true one, and if that's the case, then Papoose wasn't just a victim of a failed love. Rather, he was a pawn in a bigger, messier game, a game where heartbreak is just free promotion and loyalty is for Instagram posts. But this is only the beginning. What we don't yet know: the alleged behind-the-scenes arguments, the accidental leaks, and the carefully timed public appearances could change everything, or have information that could blow this story wide open. The first thing you should know is that the alleged unintentional leaks about Claressa, Tony, Remy quadrangle, and the entire Papoose are in fact not so unintentional. According to a reliable source who will call the whisperer for their own safety, by which I mean their number of followers, certain screenshots and clips were sent to gossip blogs on purpose to control the narrative, and who would stand to gain the most from that? Let's just say that everyone is blaming someone who has made a living by turning a bad situation into a public relations victory. The timing is perfect. By now, Papoose's side of the story is sounding desperate, and according to some bloggers, he's slipping into their direct messages, offering to clear things up if they let him tell it live on air. The trouble is that every time he speaks, the timeline finds a new meme angle. For example, a clip of him allegedly defending himself on a live stream was looped into a 10-second TikTok soundbite with the caption, "When you realize she still has a fiancé," and it's already at 3-4 million views. But the madness doesn't end there. Does anyone remember those alleged texts? Messages that were covered in the first section? The audio, the purported audio. That is, "He was only a moment, Tony. You've always been mine forever." Whether it's real or just a bored fan with a voice filter, the damage is done, says the severely distorted voice that is supposed to be Claressa. The story is set in stone. Papoose never took center stage. The remixes appear just when you thought it couldn't get any more obscene. It's true that real producers are now using Papoose's previous verses as distractions by slicing them in between quotes from the purported audio. Meanwhile, the sports media industry is having a field day, combating boxing the way Claressa avoided. Papoose was far more impressive than her ring footwork. According to a purported former assistant of Clarisse who spoke to Gossip Spill Vibe under anonymity, Claressa planned this breakup to coincide with a major fight announcement. Why? Because headlines are the most effective way to increase ticket sales, and it makes sense if you think about it. She has won a world title. As she promotes her upcoming fight, her name appears everywhere, even in places that have little interest in sports. This is where things become gloomy. According to multiple insiders, Tony Rich never really left the picture. The attack on Papoose's reputation is also worth discussing because she is playing this like a pro at chess. She isn't saying anything at all in public, but the language she uses on social media is very different. Check out the nasty remarks. You like. Suddenly following Clarissa's former sparring partner, posting an ancient old picture with the words Day 1, Day 0 in the caption. Check again. The quiet assassin, Queen Petty, is being referred to by fans, who are tagging her in every conversation. Tony was subtly aware of Claressa and Papoose when they were spotted together for months. Some even claimed that Tony was spreading specific rumors to keep people guessing, even though he knew he would win. Papoose was played immediately, according to one camp, as a pawn in Tony and Claressa's romantic game. He knew what he was getting into but thought his loyal husband, Brand, would protect him. Conspiracy theorists, who think Remy planned the entire thing to get the last laugh without ever doing anything else, are in Camp 3. However, the fallout is undeniable. Deals for brands are at stake. Events were abruptly postponed. The podcast Papoose was working on together, and the sponsor quietly withdrew, according to sources. His stock is currently falling like a stone, and in 2025, public perception is currency. However, he isn't going down without resistance. According to fresh insider information, Papoose is getting ready to release a freestyle that will be all out and address everyone, including Remy, the alleged title, checkmate, Claressa, and even Remy. The kicker is that, according to some, he has already recorded it 3 times, each with a different ending, because he can't decide how petty to be. It's possible that Claressa is concealing her own collection of receipts, pictures, videos, and even private messages that could further harm Papoose's reputation if that weren't enough. What does this mean for us then? 4 key players are present. Papoose, humiliated, tries to change the narrative. Tony Rich, the winner, celebrates his victory. And Claressa Shields, riding the publicity wave, was reinforced by a headline. And maybe the real winner of it all is Remy Ma, who is very strategic and silent. This is the problem with stories like this though. They don't just disappear. They actually change. They intensify. They come up with new perspectives. And as the audience starts to lose interest, someone unintentionally reveals a new bombshell, which is, ironically, exactly what is going to happen. Remember how I said that scandals like this don't just fade away? Yes. Don't die and forget. One of these is changing. Since Papoose is the only one missing, we are now talking about a supposed secret meeting involving 3 of the 4 major actors in this disaster. A confidentiality agreement tells Gossip Spill Vibe that a private dinner was held at a fancy Manhattan restaurant a few days after the Claressa-Tony reunion was made public. Who was there? Remy Ma, Claressa, and Tony. No entourage, no publicists, no cameras, just 3 people who had a lot to talk about, if the rumors are to be believed. According to our source, the meeting lasted more than 2 hours and was not at all cordial. At one point, witnesses saw Claressa giggling and pointing at her phone, while Tony leaned back with his arms crossed and nodded like a victorious man. How about Remy? While the queen watched her board, she reportedly sat there as calm as ever, drinking her drink. The truth always wins out. But instead of showing empathy, the comments are full of "bro, it's over" responses and clown emojis. The rumor on the street is that during that meeting, a folder, yes, a real manila folder like this one from the old school mafia, was passed across the table. What was inside? We don't know, but it reportedly contained insurance in case Papoose tried to go too far with his freestyle or reveal too much in an interview. That Claressa was approached by a reality production company to do a show about her life outside of the ring months before this whole situation became public knowledge, and that the pilot episode allegedly featured a relationship crisis plot involving her fiancé and Papoose, suggesting that all of the flirting, social media teasing, and even those fake paparazzi photos may have been done at least partially for the cameras. If that's the case, Papoose's humiliation is now sitting on a producer's hard drive, properly lighted and on tape. In addition, one of my leaky contacts told me that if the drama continues to escalate, at least 2 streaming services are interested. in taking it up. Translation: in a few months, the entire train wreck might be on film. As if the universe couldn't get any more complicated, the mysterious third party shows up. There was another man in the Claressa Papoose situationship who wasn't in the music or sports industry but had a close but subtle relationship with Claressa. If this mystery man comes forward, the triangle of love could become a love hexagon. Don't worry about trending if it does. This is going down in tabloid history. Fans are eagerly examining every little expression in old photos and videos, while others are begging everyone to let Papoose get better and move on. TikTok detectives have created detailed timelines that show similarities between Claressa's time with Tony and Papoose by comparing background information, clothing, and even restaurant interiors. According to a viral post, she allegedly managed both men down to the hour on the same weekend. While Papoose takes the brunt of the criticism and Claressa reaps the benefits of the publicity, Remy is quietly changing his brand. She spends more time in the studio and almost addresses the issue in a few cryptic interviews, but she backs off at the last minute. Fans think that a new piece of merchandise that reads, "Watch who you feed," is aimed at Papoose, but Remy hasn't confirmed or denied it. Tony Rich, on the other hand, is looking at the big picture. He is not making any disparaging remarks in public, and according to multiple sources, he has been given the opportunity to speak out in private, but has turned them all down for the time being. Then there is a leak that no one saw coming, which is the ultimate plot twist. When we see Papoose leaving a lounge with an unidentified woman, the comments start to get out of hand. Is it revenge? A new flirtation? A distraction on stage? The optics alone relieve some of the pressure, but he doesn't confirm or deny. Nevertheless, this story has taught us that serenity is an ephemeral concept, because the folder from that secret encounter is said to have returned within 48 hours, this time in the hands of a blogger who's got no chill. They claim that it contains a handwritten message that could ruin jobs, bank transfers, and screenshots. Even if nothing has been made public yet, the threat is enough to drive fans crazy. All of these athletes will never be seen the same way again in the court of public opinion. That much is certain. They may attempt to reconstruct Papoose. Claressa will continue to box and make news. Tony will continue to enjoy the victory lap. Remy will continue to drink and watch the game. She may already be the winner, but for those of us who are watching, sipping tea, and scrolling through screens not with a folder around, this isn't the end for us. We're making sure you see every turn, leak, and little action, so subscribe, hit the like button, and share your most outrageous theory in the comments. A mystery man who hasn't even spoken yet, a potential reality show in the works, and a ton of alleged receipts. That is to say, you have the opportunity to write the last chapter, which hasn't even been written yet. Was this something Papoose caused, or was he just unlucky? Above all, do you think Remy Ma is laughing or planning her next move right now?